everyone, Jeri Bellini here. Welcome to the tiny house. Today we're going to do a book review. Yes, I've had a kind of a little bit of a crazy week again. The summer is like that, but my little granddaughter had a little accident on her bicycle, so she just got a brand new bicycle. I was going to tell you about this in Stitch and Story, but I might as well tell you here. And she just got it a couple weeks ago. There was a defect in it and she had a little accident. She's okay, but she did get quite hurt. She wound up with 18 stitches and she can't go in the pool for a while, or the water. So we're all bumming about that, but thank goodness she's okay. So that being said, it was just a little bit of hecticness. Is that a word? And I missed a whole day of work. So I thought a book review would be a good idea. So here we are. I've done a few book reviews. I've been sectioning off the books by type, you might say. So today's book review is going to be on stitching books. So here, like this. These are all stitch books, and there's 5 of them in this book review. And they all have something to do with slow stitch or some kind of stitching. And I hope you enjoy it. I think you will. The lights are off when I'm doing the video because the light, the overhead light, causes glare. So I just sat in front of the window and did them. I don't see any glare. I think it's light enough that you can see what I'm doing, but there's no glare on the book pages. So that, and I will put a list of the books that I recommended in the description box below with a link that you can go to Amazon and purchase them if you're interested. Don't feel like you have to. But, and I say that because I'm an Amazon affiliate and I do get a few pennies from your purchases when you use my link. So that being said, I want to thank you so much for your support, and let's get to the book reviews. Okay, we're going to start with this book, Stitch Stories, and let me tell you a little bit about it. It is a book by Cass Holmes, and she is an artist, I believe, based in the UK. At least that's where I found out about her, through a textile.org. It's a site that houses online courses, and I'll leave a link in the description box below. A few years ago, I signed up for those, and it's a $40 a month membership. They only open the membership once or twice a year, and I did it for a few months, and I felt like it was a little bit out of my budget, so I had to give it up. But I learned about a lot of wonderful artists through that, and this is her book, Cass Holmes. The books I'm about to show you all have this soft cover. It's some kind of cloth, and some people just find that not enjoyable. So I read that in the reviews when I looked for the book on online. I don't have a problem with it. I think it's a great book, and I love the way it feels. And I am going to be showing you 5 books, and all 5 of them have this soft cover. So, all right, we beat that to death. Now I'm going to show you the index first, so you can get a feel for what's in the book. And I do not have a light on, because if I had a light on, there would be a lot of glare on the pages. So hopefully the light's not too bad, and you can see I'm standing in front of the window. So here's the contents. Places, spaces, and traces, seizing inspiration, the natural world, all in detail, off the beaten path, telling stories in stitch. So I'm going to just kind of flip through, and I'll stop if there's something really exciting. Well, exciting to me. So she tells you about all the materials that she uses. And I love this. It's a concertina. I don't read every single one of my books, so I'll get back to that in a second, because I did want to say something about this landscape. she is known for landscapes, and her landscapes are beautiful. She also is known for she's known by me, one of the people known by me, to do mamigami. And I did buy some of that koyak. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's Kojac. It's a powder, and you mix it with water, I believe, and it creates a paste for you to make the mamigami, which I want to try with you guys at some point. So what I wanted to say was, as we're flipping through the book, I don't always read every single book that I purchase. A lot of them for me is eye candy, and this is one of those in particular. I will stop to read something here and there, but I don't want to copy anything. So I very rarely read or look to see how people are doing things, because I want to do my own spin on things. And so I just use the books as inspiration. And this one's just beautiful. So she gets her inspiration from things like this, it looks like, yeah. And so yeah, I love any books. I just love making books, and I haven't made one in a while, and I definitely want to get back to that. So there's a sketchbook. Stencils. It's really pretty. This is really beautiful. I love when people do a body of work, so it all has like the same feeling. So it's like stuff hanging off the edge, and the colors are similar, very natural. So this is I really like this book. Oh, look at this. Come on. Oh my gosh. I just fell in love with that when I saw it. Isn't that gorgeous? Now she does machine stitching and hand stitching. So obviously this looks like it's machine stitching. Well, to me it does. Looks like machine stitching below. Oh, tea-dyed envelopes. Holy smokes. It doesn't say whether it's hand stitched or not, but I would assume that there's hand stitching in there, and that's what all those threads are. Oh, she does a little jelly printing over there. Yeah, so this, I enjoy this. I enjoy this book. Oh, it's trash. Trash. She's a recycler, I guess. Everybody is, right? I think most people are, I should say. A cloth. That looks like a cloth book. All right, so you get the gist of this, right? I showed you pretty much every page. So little Cantha and Sashiko. Oh, look at that. Come on. It's the dots, right? They're everywhere. People love circles. They have a lot of meaning for a lot of people. They do have meaning for me. And one of these days I'll talk to you about that. Okay, so this is beautiful. Very simple. You know, it's a concertina, but it looks really simple. And if you can see, there's machine stitching there and hand stitching. And it's just beautiful. Found cloth. She often makes small works or books while traveling or when she's pressed for time. What a great idea when you don't have a lot of time. Just make something small. So that's that book. Amazing. I would highly recommend it. So the next artist is Mandy Patello, and I have 2 of her books. I love her. I love her work. Again, I found her. She's an artist from the UK, and I found her online in the textile.org group. And here is her table of contents, and I'm not going to read all that. So Quilt Love, wool work. Oh, I love that, wool work. She does a lot of stuff with wool. Linen and lace. I'm not sure, wardrobe, what that means, but let's take a quick look. So I have two of her books. I don't know if she's made more than just the 2, but she takes quilts that are old and tattered and cuts them up. They're, you know, beyond repairing. Cuts them up and remakes them into collages. That's her specialty. And she did a bird too. See, birds are pretty popular. I love our bird that we did recently. And you see, we just passed by this coat. So she embellished on the coat. I think it probably had some moth spots or something on it. I feel like when I read that. Scrolls. That's a scroll. Beautiful. So she'll use the pieces of cloth from the quilt. And she unpicks. The first time I heard that term, unpick, I didn't know really what it meant, but they take the stitches out of things and reuse the cloth. And that has got to be a labor of love. Look at this one. That's an old piece of quilt. It's gorgeous. And look at, like, it's had a hole in it, it looks like. So I'm not sure if she made it bigger or cut the ratty part away. And she makes bags. So that's a bag out of a piece of the old cloth. She does wonderful things. If you like vintage cloth, vintage quilts, she does fantastic things. What a great change purse. I would slow stitch on top of that. These little patches are adorable. Very inspiring. Beautiful, beautiful work. Actually, you know, that's like a patch. It looks like that came off a quilt, and see how ratty the edges are? And that's all thread borne. Beautiful, right? So there's her work. Gorgeous. Here's a book. I love cloth books, and I just love books in general. So anytime I see a book, this is beautiful. This is absolutely beautiful. Right up my alley. Holy smokes. It's a book cover she made a collage out of. It's another artist I saw years and years and years ago doing that. And it's so funny because, you know, Brian and I, we sell distressed books in our Etsy shop, and so I have a lot of distressed book covers, and I had wanted to do that years ago, and then of course you find other people doing it. There's nothing new under the sun, just so you know. This is another book by Mandy Patello, and we'll just quickly look at the contents. So materials, she tells you how she hunts. I should have shown you this book first. This was her first book, and that was her second one. Materials, hunting and gathering, make, worn, what to use, getting started, jackets, quilted garments, things to consider. This is for the books, scroll books, quilt books. Gosh, she does something with a wallet. I've been working on a wallet book for years. I'm not even gonna look. I have got to get that out and start doing it. So this is her studio where she works. She's in a little shop, I think downtown somewhere in England. I don't remember what town she's in. But I do know she goes out of her home to go to work on her things every day. I don't know if she still does that, but she did it back a few years ago when I first read her book. I haven't really opened her book in several years. I leave these books down here because I have more time to browse and, you know, get some inspiration down here. When I'm home, I seem to be busy doing other things. I don't know though about this year though. I've been super busy doing YouTube videos and haven't had a chance to look at my books. Aren't these gorgeous? Look at this. I just love this. She took these apart from other quilts and put them here, put them all together. If you read about her, and I did, you know, I read a lot of this. Love these. Simple flowers. Oh, she's mixing paper and cloth in this one. I'm not sure I see the paper, but, oh, right there. Some paper. She does a lot of birds. You'll see a lot of birds in her work. And obviously animals. And she tells you how to get started. Oh, these are wonderful. Yeah. So much inspiration from so many wonderful artists. It's just mind-boggling. So that's her second book. The last artist I want to share with you is Claire Wellesley Smith, and she, I think, started the slow stitch movement. And let's hold this up so you can see the contents. So yeah, what is the slow stitch movement and how does it relate to textiles? Materials and techniques, cross-cultural activity, and she's talking about Cantha and Boro and that kind of thing. Contemplative, so reflective and mindful practices. So we were talking about that, how a simple stitch can just be done on a patch and be so beautiful, like here. Be so beautiful. Here's a close-up. And we think, because it's so simple, it's just a running stitch, we just discard the notion of doing it. But I'm telling you that it's just fantastic. We're going to do a simple patch this week for either the scroll or the book, and just a simple stitch, and we're just going to do it to death. And yeah, I'll have some stories to tell you when we're doing that. Look at this. Isn't that great? Don't you just love that? I just want to take a bite out of it. Isn't that a weird reaction? But that's how I feel sometimes when I see things. So something that is decaying, and she's just stitching over it. Scraps of weathered fabric carefully stitched to keep them intact. That reminds me of the project that K3N did. And I know you guys all follow her. She did the bury the book thing. I'll put that in the description below for you if you haven't looked into that. Wait, I just passed this, these little spools. I have these little tiny spools on these old wooden bobbins. Sometimes I'm afraid to use old thread. I know Catherine uses it all the time, but I'm always afraid to use it. So if you have old spools of thread, do like take a length off and yank on it to see if it breaks. If it breaks easily, don't use it. If it has some strength left to it, then, you know, knock yourself out, use it. It's wonderful. See, this is the simple running stitch, is what I was talking about a minute ago. Just a simple stitch. What makes it so special, what makes it so interesting, she's using different colors of thread. But it is the simplest of simple, and yet look at it. Look. She just did two side by side. I mean, Come on. You know what I'm saying. Just wonderful. So this book I did read because she has a lot of insight, and like I said, she talks about the slow stitch movement and repairing a sweater. Look at that, mending. I love this book. Yeah, some really beautiful things. And here's the log cabins. I love this. Now the typical log cabin has a red thing in the middle, but this one you can see it's all different. I love log cabins. I have made a log cabin quilt. Isn't that just beautiful? Okay, so it will be a wonderful thing to own this book. I don't know what this is. These are all stitches and they are tiny and oh my gosh, all together. It looks like she made them on top of something. She stitched them down on top of something. Of course you could read it, Jeri, but I'm not going to. Just looking at the picture and coming up with my own conclusion. That is amazing. Does that not look like one of those rugs, those woven rugs? And maybe it is. That's amazing. Look at all those hours and hours and hours of stitching. Whew. I'll have to read about that later. Circles. Come on, dots. Okay. So that's a project that somebody's working on. So get that book. You could read all about that. That is definitely one worth having in your library. So this is another book by Claire. These books all have that really soft cover. Resilient Stitch. And you see how you can see the stitches there? Because these are hexes and they are put together the way I put together the squares, the whip stitch. And that's going in our 10-minute technique very soon. So let's look at the contents. Materials, community, environment, history, and then this. Yeah, I love hexes too. I did make a hexagon quilt many years ago as well. Yeah, her work, look at this. Beautiful, just beautiful. Little pieces of cloth that she rescued from things here. So she talks all about it right there. Very interesting. If that sort of thing interests you, which it does me. So beautiful. I love this color. It's from age and having things lay on it and whatnot. It just gets that wonderful old patina. Well, it was used, I'm sure. Probably got thrown on the floor a few times. This is fantastic. She's going over a piece of old cloth and just doing this stitching on it. It's just gorgeous. Yeah. Oh, isn't that beautiful? I could talk about this stuff forever. So let's see what kind of needles she's using. Sharps. So she's restitching these together with sharps. Look Look at all those stitches. Ugh, just take a patch. I have a lot of old quilts. I've collected them for years, and I have a lot that I haven't done anything with. And I usually like to pick up the ones that are really tattered, because then I don't feel guilty about cutting them apart and repurposing them. Oh, she's doing the fiber twist. Interesting. What an interesting way to do it, to have somebody else hold the end. Well, I have a fiber twist video in on my channel, and I use a clipboard to hold the end, and then I can just pull the clipboard against myself. Do take a look at that if you're interested in making some of that. Tying and binding, scrap string. And this is a fun thing to do. Just have your scrap basket. Oh, there it is. Just have your scrap basket handy and just start stitching pieces together. And then you can do something fun with that. So another wonderful book from Claire. Okay, so I hope I've inspired you by showing you some of my special slow stitching, I would call them, books. And maybe you'll be able to purchase one. If not, maybe you can get it from your local library and check it out. See if you like it before you purchase it. Or just borrow it and give it back, if you don't want to have a lot of books in your house. So I hope you enjoyed this edition of the book review. I do have another pile of books to show you in a different category, and I will do that soon. So keep moving. Just play. No rules. And remember to find something to be grateful for. I'm always grateful for you, of course. I'm grateful for the library and these beautiful books, for inspiration. And I'm grateful for you for all the inspiration that you've been offering. If you're not in the Facebook group, there's well over 700 people in there at this moment. And it is so full of encouragement, support, and inspiration. It is beyond my wildest dreams. And so if you want to be inspired, consider joining that. The links are always in the description box below. And thank you so much again for watching, and I will see you again next time. Bye for now.